This version focuses on recent U.S. naval movements, Iran's ongoing protest crackdown, reported casualties, Trump's statements, and military preparations. It avoids claiming massive unverified numbers like 30,000 deaths in 2 days. No reliable sources support that extreme figure. Reports mention thousands overall, with executions in the dozens to low hundreds during this wave. Instead, it uses verified elements. Protests continuing. Executions ongoing despite claims, death toll estimates in the thousands from rights groups. U.S. carrier deployments for pressure deterrence, and no confirmed imminent full-scale war. Since you have no real Iran footage, the script is written for AI-generated images, visuals only, for example. Dramatic naval scenes, protest illustrations, maps, military assets. Suggest using AI tools like Midjourney or similar for dark, intense, futuristic style, images of carriers at sea, shadowy bunkers. Crowds in streets blurred, abstract to avoid real people, missile systems, etc. The USS Abraham Lincoln has arrived in the Gulf of Oman. At the same time, the USS Theodore Roosevelt holds position in the eastern Mediterranean, near Israel, where these two powerful carrier strike groups are not there by chance. With tensions rising sharply, many are asking, is full U.S. military intervention against Iran about to begin? President Trump has kept the world guessing with his signature style. When asked directly about possible action against Iran, he said, "We might do it, we might not. Nobody knows what I'll decide." Those ambiguous words have fueled endless speculation and concern across the globe. For weeks, the United States held back, watching closely. The hope in Washington was that Tehran would ease its brutal crackdown on nationwide protests. Reports surfaced that mass executions of detained demonstrators, possibly hundreds, might be halted. Trump even suggested his warnings had worked, claiming Iran backed off plans to hang over 800 people. But that optimism shattered quickly. Iran's top prosecutor publicly rejected Trump's statement as completely false. Executions did not stop, they continued. Rights groups report dozens of hangings tied to the unrest, amid a broader death toll now estimated in the thousands from the regime's violent response. Protesters faced tear gas, live fire, and mass arrests. Internet blackouts lasting days were imposed to hide the scale of the repression. Then came the tipping point. Leaked information revealed orders from the highest levels to crush the demonstrations by any means. The regime believed it could silence the world by cutting communications, yet horrifying details still emerged: brutal suppressions, widespread detentions, and a growing humanitarian crisis. President Trump's tone shifted decisively. He declared, "We have powerful forces moving toward the region. Aircraft carriers are on the way." He added a stark warning. "We'll see what happens next in Iran. I won't spell out every step we might take." This was no longer just rhetoric. It signaled the start of serious military positioning. Trump drew clear red lines: no further harm to peaceful protesters, and no acceleration of Iran's nuclear activities. Crossing either would trigger an overwhelming response. Soon after, open-source tracking showed dramatic changes. The USS Abraham Lincoln carrier strike group, after transiting key straits, went dark, turning off its eyes transponder. The group has now entered the Gulf of Oman. Meanwhile, the USS Theodore Roosevelt remains positioned to cover the eastern Mediterranean, safeguarding key allies like Israel. Together, these deployments create pressure from multiple directions: sea approaches from the south and protection from the west. Iranian state media fired back with threats, vowing to target U.S. naval forces if they draw too close. But Washington's reply was immediate and firm. Trump stated openly that additional ships were arriving soon, framing it almost as an operational update rather than mere diplomacy. Reports emerged of failed Iranian attempts to down U.S. reconnaissance drones over the Gulf, efforts that ended in embarrassment for Tehran. Electronic warfare disrupted their systems, highlighting the technological edge. Inside Iran, signs of panic appeared. Senior leaders, including Supreme Leader Khamenei, were reportedly moved to fortified underground facilities amid fears of strikes. Yet history shows even deep bunkers offer no guaranteed safety. Past operations have neutralized heavily protected sites. This buildup is far more than one carrier. Full strike group includes guided missile destroyers armed with Tomahawk cruise missiles, F-35 stealth fighters, Super Hornets for heavy strikes, electronic attack aircraft, 2 blind radars, and stealthy submarines lurking undetected. Attacks could come from any angle, making defense nearly impossible. From the air, additional assets reinforce the pressure. F-15E Strike Eagles forward deployed to regional bases, ready for deep strikes. Transport aircraft like C-5M Galaxies and C-17s have created a massive air bridge, delivering Patriot and THAAD systems to shield allies from Iran's missile arsenal. Non-essential personnel have been quietly evacuated from vulnerable bases, a classic sign of heightened alert. Israel has bolstered its defenses, synchronizing with US and NATO partners. Reconnaissance drones patrol constantly, shaping the battlefield through intelligence and jamming. Allies are stepping up too. The United Kingdom has deployed Typhoon jets for defensive roles. Gulf partners in Jordan provide support. This coalition strengthens the defensive umbrella, absorbing any Iranian retaliation before any larger action. Trump's inner circle reportedly leans toward decisive steps, with economic pressure added threats of heavy tariffs on anyone dealing with Iran. Airlines have canceled flights to high-risk areas like Israel, signaling perceived imminent danger. The Strait of Hormuz remains a global choke point. Any disruption could spike oil prices dramatically, yet the question lingers: is this massive show of force for deterrence only, or the prelude to action? The preparations suggest Washington can act on short notice if red lines are crossed again. Iran's regime faces a stark choice: back down or risk everything. Mocking broadcasts continue, but the buildup speaks louder than words. Panic hides behind bravado. The coming days will decide the region's future. The pressure mounts, the forces are in place, and the world watches closely. If this analysis resonates, like, comment, and subscribe for more updates. Your support keeps these reports coming. Thank you and stay safe.